Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another efficiency settlement build in Fallout 4. This time we are doing Coastal Cottage, which started out as a real mess. I'm just going to dive right in and show you what I've done. I completely rebuilt... looks like people are going on a mission here. Looks like the Minutemen have decided to stop by. Oh, okay, cool. Welcome, Minutemen. Anyway, I completely rebuilt the broken shack that was here. I'm going to go ahead and show you what this used to look like. As you can see, it was completely blown apart. There's a huge hole in the bottom of the shack where the shack used to be. The entire top floor is completely blown away, and there's nothing left of the main floor. But as you can see, I've completely rebuilt it from the ground up. So the first thing I'm going to show you is this rebuilt shack. So coming on in, you see that this gray floor right here was the original floor, and I have patched it. I put down some carpets as necessary, but you can still see all of the work that I've done here. This took me hours and hours and hours. This was a Sunday. This was an entire Sunday, and I didn't know it was going to be this labor intensive when I started, but man, it sure turned out to be. But I'm glad I did it. It turned out well. I also completely rebuilt the walls. Here's the original wall with the peeling paint and the thatch and... is that what it's called? Lather? I forget what it's called. Anyway, that's where it ends, and this is where the new walls begin. All of this dark wood is completely new. I filled in all the holes, and I had to build them up because the walls that come with the game are not tall enough for this pre-built structure. So I completely rebuilt them. And down here on the first floor, I decided to turn this into a kitchen. I've got a dishwashing station over there that the settlers use to wash dishes, a refrigerator. This is a cooking area and larder with some foodstuffs stacked up. Moving on upstairs, you see that I managed to get a ladder up there. I had to add this step at the bottom to make it long enough. But I rebuilt this floor, and I've got a nice den up here. Almost all of this is new. I think, yeah, there's a little bit of the existing floor here, but everything else I had to completely build out. I put this little fence around here so that settlers wouldn't fall on down. And over in this corner, we've got a desk, a working desk, that is actually a scavenging station that is reskinned to look like a desk. This upstairs area I'm using for abstract art, and I've got mounted heads all over the place. Death claws, Yao Guai, all sorts of stuff. Over here is a chemistry section. I figured, hey, you know what? They're going to need to manufacture chems. So I've got a chemistry station over here where they can manufacture chems. And then this is the study. So that's the work area, and this is the study where they can write letters to loved ones, look up research, and have a good time studying. Over here, we've got the lounge area, and as you can see, I've got the holotape player working. At least I think it's working. There it is. Playing television. 2 coffee tables laid out with magazines, coffee, smoking areas, drinks, and all sorts of good stuff. Carpets on the ground to just make it a little bit more homey, and working lights. So, this was an effort. I'm proud to show it off, but man, that took a lot of work to get this whole thing working. But the most exciting thing I like about this is this. There's a trap door on the floor which leads to this old cave filled with human bones. Now, what could this be? Well, I imagine this could be a trap for raiders. Like the entire settlement could go hide and the raiders could fall down here, and then there's no way out. You can see a little bit of daylight, but you can't get out. There's no way out once you fall down here. So I imagine that it's a defense mechanism for the settlers to defend themselves when they get raided. Of course, it doesn't really work that way in real life, but in real life. Anyway. So there you go. I've got a nice little trapdoor there, and it works really well. I'm pretty pleased with the way that turned out. So there's the primary house. On the porch here, I have a nice station set out with a cigar station for them to smoke cigars and smoke their cigarettes. Now let me show you the rest of the settlement. So first, let me show you the spawn points. There are 3. One is over here, the primary entrance, which leads down to this road. They spawn right here, which is predictable. So I set out this nice defense station right here, and I put a guard tower with a settler man to it to guard that area. The next station is over here because there's a spawn point just beyond this corner of the property, way over here. So I've got a station set up here to defend the settlement from over there. And then finally, way over in this corner is another large defense station because there's a spawn point over here as well. So Coastal Cottage has 3 different enemy spawn points. You're going to have to take care when you defend it to make sure that you're well defended from all sides. Thankfully, none of them spawn within the actual settlement except for over here. But this is an entryway anyway, so over here. So it's manageable. This is how I'm powering the facility, the entire settlement. I've got an engine room, an elevated engine room. I didn't think I would need as much power as I ended up using, which is why I made the elevated engine room so small. So when I started building more turrets and I ended up needing more power, I decided to build some wind turbines. There are 2 on top of there, and then there are 2 on top of the primary house over in that corner. This is the workshop. So I actually did a lot of work on the workshop. You can see all of this corrugated iron. I patched the roof in the workshop. So now when it rains, the rain doesn't fall through. And man, it was a beast trying to use my mod in combination with console commands to just take these flat roof textures, or these flat roofs, and tilt them up at an angle to meet this A-frame. But I managed to do it. Going on inside, you look up and it looks like it's perfectly repaired. So I'm pretty pleased with that. This is a scavenging station that looks like a workbench. I've got another scavenging station here. Here's my terminal. And yeah, I was really trying to find ways to get enough generators into the settlement. So I ended up putting 2 generators in my workshop. It doesn't look the best, but it's functional. Just got random decorations over here. This workshop comes with these nice little iron shelves. And sadly, you can only decorate the middle shelf without resorting to using console commands. So I just decorated the middle shelf here, and I put a fire extinguisher in the corner. And there's the workshop. I jerry-rigged a lot of the wiring of this settlement. I had to put pylons all over the place to get it to work, but I also tried to make it fairly roomy, so it's not obtrusive. There's not a lot of flat ground on this settlement, so I made the farm sort of haphazard. It's not flat, but it is all in one spot, and it's all right here in the ground. So right outside the primary house, you've got this nice farm that's set up. It's a carrot farm, so that I can actually select my settlers and give them commands. Moving on over here, and we have the primary marketplace and dining area. So I've got 2 tables set out with all sorts of goodies, no silverware. Didn't have any silverware in my inventory at the time, so I couldn't put any down. But I got 2 bars. Settlers tend to congregate around bars and restaurants at the end of the day and in the early morning when they first wake up. So I've got 2 bars over here near the seating so that settlers will always have a place to sit. And then I've got just have some other random shops around the perimeter of this platform to generate caps and improve settlement happiness. I used the Wasteland Workshop lamps around the perimeter of this marketplace just to give it some much needed light during the night. And then finally I built this elevated shack for all of the beds that my settlers need. As is typical, in order to save room and reduce the amount of cloth that I spend on beds, I use sleeping bags, and they all seem to fit. One thing I didn't do, which I meant to, is put some seating, out here on this patio area. I just got so caught up with that house reconstruction over there and the eating area down there that I just didn't get time to put anything out here. But I may later. There you go. Short and sweet. This is the Coastal Cottage. Was a lot of work for a short video. But I hope it inspired you. Not a lot of people that I see doing these builds will actually take the time to completely rebuild blown away structures. And it's a shame because these things take up an immense amount of space in your settlement. And you can either do something with it, like I tried to here, or you just have to ignore it, in which case you're kind of pushed into the corners of your settlement build and you just don't have any room. So I'm pretty pleased with the fact that I was able to outfit this thing and make it functional. My settlers go in and out, they use it, and this thing has all of the metrics needed. It's not got the largest population because this is one of my last settlements, so it's only been around for a short period of time, but I've got my recruitment beacon here. It's slowly gaining settlers over time. I've got 36 beds, 36 water, 36 food, fully prepared for when all of the settlers finally arrive, and plenty of defense. Happiness is at 87, and I think it's going to pretty much stay there unless I want to really try and work on happiness. But I'm content with settlement happiness in the low 90s to high 80s. So there you go. That is Oxhorn's Coastal Cottage. Hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to subscribe here on YouTube. I'm going to continue to do settlement builds of every settlement in Fallout 4. And when I'm done, I'm going to do all the Far Harbor settlements, if there are any. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to work on player houses and other settlements that you can build using mods. So that should be a lot of fun. All right, thanks again for watching. Have a good one.